Excellent.
Okay, so the arrow points to Gott's Restaurant in the Ferry Building Market. Um, Trisha, Bill, and I rendezvoused with each other before lunch at the Ferry Building, and let's see, I can't share my mouse, I guess.
Well, could you just go through this quickly and get to
Yeah,
images?
very quickly. Yes, starting at God's, but before lunch, we went from the Ferry Building, south of the Ferry Building, down the Embarcadero, over Mission Street, over to the old post office. Trisha's here. Let me let her in. Come on, respond. There it goes. Down Mission Street to, I think it was Beale, then back up to Market Street by 101 Market, and went along by PG&E headquarters, back down Market, back to the Ferry Building, where we met Gary at Gott's Restaurant for lunch. Then after lunch, we went over to Justin Herman Plaza by the Hyatt. We climbed up on the fountain there. Then we went up into Embarcadero Center and crossed all these bridges going through. Then I took them in to Embarcadero. Inside, you can't see it, and weaved back to the center, and there's a bridge over to Maritime Plaza in the Alcoa building with this, what I call the dandelion fountain. Then we weaved around the Alcoa building there, and I showed them where the Punchline Comedy Club is. Then we went over another bridge into the Golden Gateway Center Apartments, and we weaved through the third floor deck with all the townhouses. Then we exited that down a stairway into Sidney Walton Square, which is a big park with weeping willows and so forth. We exited the park, went down Pacific Avenue. When we got to Battery, the old ship saloon, which has, from the gold rush days, a ship down in the basement, and they built essentially the bar on top of that. Then we went over to the oldest remaining section of San Francisco with brick buildings around Gold Street and so forth. Then we went down Sansom. We passed by a Popo privately owned public open space for Transamerica Pyramid, but they were renovating it. So all we had was a glimpse of it. Further down, there's another Popo's at 343 Sansom, and there was a sign on the door saying it was being renovated, and we wandered around trying to find it for a bit. And as you'll see here tonight, I went back there that following Tuesday, talked to the doorman, and managed to get in and go up to this beautiful deck on the 15th floor of the roof.
Great.
When we were doing the tour, we went from there all the way down to Market, and there was an old bank lobby of it was Chase or Citicorp, in Carrera Marble. We had coffee there, then went by the Shell building and the Art Deco lobby, and then back to the Ferry building. Okay.
A quickie. This is being recorded, so this could be lifted out as a separate item that people could look at. So this could be something that could go into the library.
You mean as far as posting this map? I could post it on Field Trips Forum.
Perfect. With the video that goes with it.
You mean video of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, or a link to it on YouTube. Yeah.
Fine. Okay. You want to start with image?
I believe Trisha's up first.
Oh.
Yep,
It's fabulous.
there's a bunch of balconies.
Trisha, famous for all her patterns and so forth. If I were a judge, you know what my possible critique point might be? Where's the person wearing a red shirt on one of the balconies?
I was gonna say you need a nude.
Nude is even better.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, I
Photoshop
like
the
it a
rest.
lot.
One of the things I like about it is all the reflections in the mirrored windows.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's some blue and then the rest are the buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blue sky.
So they're all the same, but they're all different.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And I just love that little, the way it goes down like that. I don't know
Yeah.
what you call those pillars or levels or whatever it is, but
And of course, the reverse is on the inside in the lobby.
oh, have to go inside.
Oh, is this the
Yeah,
Hyatt? Is this the Hyatt Regency?
the Hyatt Regency, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
I honeymooned there. Yeah, I'm so sorry I missed this field trip. I had a family obligation, but I used to work at One Bush, and there's just so many interesting things there.
I worked at One Market for
Okay.
Southern Pacific,
Okay.
and I lived in the Golden Gateway Apartments.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's everything on your map. I used to walk every day. I would go for a walk on my lunch. That and South of Market.
You ever go to the Tadich Grill?
Yes.
Yes.
I worked at 2 Fremont.
To Fremont. Okay.
IBM building.
All right.
Okay,
I
let's
was
keep
born at
moving.
St. Joseph's Hospital.
Moving on.
Oh, awesome. Also awesome.
That was called Just a Little Worried.
Oh.
Remind me, which
see it now.
building was this? Because
Oh, that's a very good question.
I know, I looked at it and I said, I know this immediately, but where was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw that and I was like, oh my God,
I
I
really
love
like it.
You probably have it
Simplicity.
if you have the GPS coordinates in the EXIF for the photo. You
I
can
don't know
figure
if
it
I do
out.
or not. I don't usually look at that, but
I
it'll
have
probably go in my portfolio if I decide to use the one that's, do you see what I see?
Mhm.
Okay.
I have a post-processing question.
Yes.
The center crack, bottom half on the right-hand side, there's little like almost fingerprint things that almost look like clone chatter. Or is that the way it was?
Probably clone chatter.
So that's
I
no,
had to build a lot of it.
so you might want to do some things to kind of cover over some of them
Yeah.
so that they're different. And
Uh-huh.
there's also the same thing on the one along the left.
On the
but
left hand.
notice
Yeah.
it.
A light touch of blur will do that too.
Yeah.
Clone
That's got
chatter, a
some
new term
I
for
like that.
clone chatter. Good one. Yeah.
Better know.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Oh, if we're offering critiques on the one before, the horizon line is just not quite straight. There's just a
At the
little
top?
yeah, top and the bottom, the very bottom, but it's just a millimeter, Trisha.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just such a brilliant image. I'd hate to see a judge go, oh yeah, but that.
And so that just makes me say, please, if you see critique items, let me know.
Okay,
I'm very
okay,
open to
okay.
that. Yeah, I appreciate
Oh,
it.
and I see two clone thingies is 1, 2, 3, fourth from the left at the bottom. There's like a little dot.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Same one on the second
Third one. Yeah.
middle. I see
Those are not chatter though, but I will take them out.
they look
Yeah.
like they're the same. They have the look of the same
Yeah,
clone.
I see 3 of those dots.
Yeah, I see a bunch of them, but I can clone them out.
This is a tough crowd.
I know, it's okay. It's okay,
It's
it's
what
good
they-
because,
We
you know,
want
if I
this-
miss it, then
I'm starting to sweat.
I'm gonna pull mine.
Is this an unusually tough crowd for field trip analysis?
I don't think there's a lot of analysis that usually goes on. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Yeah, I think
A
yes.
lot of
But
laughter.
I like
but
it
not
better this way.
analysis.
It's like being at the salon for my other group.
But yeah, oohing and eyeing over this one still. I mean, the golds and the golds and the
Gary's here.
blues.
Gold and the blue.
Hey, Gary. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on.
Okay.
This I just had to include.
Oh, yes.
I
I don't know
actually,
who did it, but I thought it was hilarious.
That's brilliant.
I've got a shot of the like 1950s neon dentist sign with the clock, which I think was at the same location.
Huh, could have been.
It's better
Oh.
than gynecology. It says.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah. That's just brilliant.
Okay, let's move.
And Gary, we're just on the third slide. We showed the map of the trek at the beginning, which I made with all the waypoints. And that map will be, I'm going to post it in the forums.
Okay, that sounds great. Sorry for being late.
No problem. We've got a lot of sides to go through.
Okay.
This one is called Skyline.
That's fabulous.
Is this in the remodeled interior of the post office?
I don't think so. I think this is in that room where you got coffee at the restaurant, or you got something at the restaurant, and then there was a fountain on one side that you guys looked at, you and Bill.
Hmm.
We sat down for a little while. My blister was aching.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Doesn't look familiar.
Had a
to me
really
from that
interesting
side.
skyline.
Yes.
Super interesting. Loved it. I see a couple places to clone too.
Ah.
My version, Bill.
Yep.
Now, this is something that both Tricia and Bill took photographs of, and each interpreted it differently.
Yeah, it was such a sight.
Architect on drugs.
I just, it was so interesting to look at that. It was just really a neat
Yeah. Exactly.
place.
I think it's fabulous. I'm just curious what it would look like if you warped some of the straight lines. No, just
I think it kind of loses the point, the contrast between the straight lines of the windows and the warping of the reflection. If everything is warped, then you lose that contrast.
I meant, yeah, selectively.
Now, this is Trisha practicing sky replacement because we had the deadest sky you've ever seen. And what I was trying to do with this is match the blue.
Okay.
I really like it because it doesn't
Yeah.
interfere with the patterns that are going on. And the colors are really rich and it's complementary.
Yeah,
I
and
really
think,
like that building, man.
yeah, and I think you've got the lighting on the clouds looks good. You like the Embarcadero, I mean the Hyatt or the Salesforce?
Now,
I liked them both. I love to go
Okay.
up to the top of the Salesforce Tower to the garden they have up there. Oh my goodness. Talk about building reflections all around you.
Yeah.
Now this one, I'd like some critique on this because it really struck me, but I don't know if it will strike anyone else.
oh, I found it very striking, especially since I used to live there.
Have you tried black and white?
No,
Maybe it needs a cat.
Yes, if you're
Okay.
doing pictorial, you can composite.
Yeah,
Thank you.
something,
Yeah, I like the idea of
something
a
in the
cat. I've got
sun.
cats.
I
Okay,
would, I might
I don't know.
touch out to the left side of the planter box that
Yeah.
stuff.
The crack.
Yeah, and looks a little bit in front of the doorway. There looks like a little leaf debris or something.
Right,
And
because,
on top of the diagonal wall, there's a little something up there.
yeah, the point of this, except for the planter box, is everything else is very sharp, clean.
I like the texture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking that too. It's really nice.
You could play with the blue wall at the right to either make it more blue or less, or more white.
That way you go for the rule of threes where got blue, brown, and white.
There's also
You
green.
could probably crop it 50 different ways and get 50 different points of view.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was bigger. Okay, thanks. I'm sorry, it's a smiley face.
Federal Reserve Bank on Market Street. The promenade, or what's it called? Let's see, your title is,
Happy to see you.
oh, happy to see you.
But isn't it an unsmiling face?
It's an
Not to
upside down
be.
smile.
Upside down smile. Maybe if you flipped it.
Yeah,
Next.
This is a different building with, or is it the same one? I'm looking at the way the windows
it's
are offset.
different.
Is this a different side of the same building?
I don't think so. I think it's a different building. But I couldn't swear to it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reflection in the window, and the little vertical bar lines are reflecting a different building, which I think Tricia has later.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Yes.
All your reflections are really interesting. You know, I keep looking at them, trying to make heads or tail. What's the real the real building look like without the, you know, that's just
That's
really
wild.
interesting.
I think that might actually be a mural on a wall that it's reflecting, which is why it has all those crenulations.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
This is Bill's first one.
Since 1850. Levi's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, we talked about that sign. That was really cool.
This is another one that the geometry is really cool.
The shadows are so subtle and so interesting. You can just sort of stay in them for a while.
And then you've got reflections in those back windows. It's just, there's a point of interest everywhere you look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I sent a message to Steve that at the end, my head was just spinning. There are so many things to see and photograph, so many reflections.
Yep.
It was just, and then there were people as well. I mean, it was just, it was like doing an event shoot.
And so you've got four shooters, and you're going to see we all saw different things.
Yeah.
Very little that we saw in common.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we did, we didn't shoot it the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, neat.
Nice shadows.
This is
I'm
one-
pretty sure this is in the post office.
right.
It's very cool.
Those
Also in the
bendy,
post
wavy
office.
lines.
Yeah, it's interesting how the lower part of it, everything's very, like say, geometric, and
Mhm.
then you look above and everything is
Except for the center post.
except for the post. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, everywhere you look, there's different images.
Different kind of contrast.
It's almost like you're looking down into water or some kind of fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The wavy glass.
Way to use the
This is,
wires.
I think this is Mission and Beale Street.
It was pretty interesting.
You know,
with the
usually you do everything you could to
incidents.
get rid of those wires. This
Yeah,
one,
put 'em
it
in there.
enhances it.
But
Yeah,
it looks like a bow and arrow or something.
Yeah.
Double bow and arrow.
Crossbow.
If you had moved around, you could have put those wires almost anywhere and get any sort of pattern out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spend all
That-
day
that's
there moving
exactly what I
back and
did.
forth and
Moved
getting
it
a crick
to
in your
this
neck.
position.
You did do that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, believe it or not, I did this intentionally. And
I
the
do
other thing
believe it.
interesting is the incident light, grazing incidents coming in from the left, the bright sunlight.
Mhm.
You see
The
those little white
diagrams.
spots where it reflects off and produces lines. It was
I
complicated
remember
optics.
that. I remember seeing just the white
Mm.
spots in the squares, how lit up they were.
Yeah,
Looks like a diver's flag.
It
Yeah.
does.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ah,
That's cool.
Now there's that building that Tricia had the wavy window shot of, and here's the entire building.
Okay.
This was to set up the next image, which is this one.
Ah, it's trippy.
And this,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Lumen,
very
I was
interesting.
looking at that and then wanted to get the two together.
Go back. So we could see.
Back.
yeah, go back one.
So this building is behind us. When I took this picture, I was leaning back against the brick building. And then went around to the right and back, and that's where the next picture was taken.
I think this is California and Sansom.
Yeah, Sanson, that was definitely Sanson. And I just
You know
saw
what?
nothing but faces. Grinning, laughing faces. Here and over here. The more I looked at it. So that's why I got that's where the noisy neighbors came from.
Bill, I've been critiqued before for having something too busy and not having a place for my eye to rest.
Uh-huh.
And is that a blanket, you shouldn't do it, or is that you have your choice?
Well, my eye rests on those two prominent front teeth. That's the whole,
Okay,
the whole caption for me came from that, but everybody's different. Everybody sees things differently.
And the brick building is kind of like a negative space thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
Yeah,
conservative,
yes.
so strict and conservative compared to the neighbors.
And then it's also reflected in the alternate stories.
Oh, I just found another face.
Oh yeah, where?
To the very right in the sort of the middle.
In here?
Yeah, this one, that whole panel, that big panel.
Yep.
Big eyes.
Paradolia.
Yep.
One of the caption for this was Bernie Sanders visit San Francisco.
Oh,
With the
That's
mittens
great.
on.
the mittens, yeah.
With the mittens off, right?
Wow.
That is really cool. So many layers.
Yeah,
That's where we
Is
were
that-
sitting when we took the break,
yeah.
just looking up. Everywhere you looked, you saw reflections of reflections. It was
Is
incredible.
that pigeon netting?
I think so. That's sure. It was an amazing place.
So really, that's up like on the wall?
Right up, straight up, almost straight up. There were reflections downward. There were
Huh.
like a couple of reflections.
Really interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's a fire suppression system. That's a sprinkler head
This is
on the bottom right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that at the cafe where I had coffee?
Yes.
Ah,
That was an interesting building.
it sure was. I love the statue in there. That was so
Yeah.
cool.
Just wandered
And
around.
I was so tired, I took a picture of the plaque at the base of the statue and didn't get a picture of the statue. And later you'll see an image where I want to composite the statue in, so I have to go back and get that.
Uh,
This was such a moment. All of us enjoyed. There was this little bridal shop in the old Jackson Square area, brick buildings all around, and this was a special couture bridal shop up on the second floor, and she was getting a fitting, and she spotted us with the cameras,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
voila.
yeah.
well,
Yeah, that worked really good.
I have one of this too, and I called it, I'm getting married.
That's fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a guy that I photographed 8 years ago in the same place.
Huh.
He was
Wow.
a world-class BMX stunt rider, professional. His name is Pete Brandt, and he's 8 years older now. Oh my,
Aren't we all?
And still doing it.
he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing athlete. Try that on your driveway.
Nope.
So I'm going back to get some of the stunt riders. There was quite a few skateboarders there that do pretty amazing jumps.
The island in between the ferry building and Justin Herman Plaza and the Hyatt, you cross the Embarcadero in two pieces. There's a great big island in between.
Yeah, this is right next to the. You
Yep.
see the ferry building. in the
remember
back.
Well, it's right next to the ferry building. Okay.
Right next,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
right
ferry
behind
building
it.
there.
It's fabulous.
Ooh.
Okay, that
Nice
looks like
reflection.
mine. That's the coming in with the ferry, and because I left early, the light's still pretty low, and it really got some cool reflections. I couldn't believe that it came off the Salesforce tower and reflected on the water. So
The shadows on Embarcadero Center and around there on the right are really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
What time was this, Gary?
Let's see, what was it? Probably a little after 7 or something like that, 7:30. In that time frame, figure that was before the time changed, and the sun was coming up when I was riding the smart train. So it wasn't
Wow.
that long after sunset, so the sun was still pretty low in the sky. So it really, and the way it lit everything up, the boats and all that, I just liked it with that lighting.
It's fabulous.
It would have been nice to put another sky in there, but then I think that it works. That's not about the sky, it's about the building.
It
Maybe I
almost
could crop
looks like
a
the
little.
reflection on the water is beaming from the Salesforce Tower.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's so pretty cool.
It really
I
is.
like that.
Yeah, it does. It's a beacon. You
Gary,
just
that
don't
alone
often
would,
see the skyline without cranes on buildings.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
really
yeah.
clean skyline.
Tony,
Gary,
you
I
said
don't-
something?
I don't know how you'd replace the sky with that sun star there and still have it work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
don't think so. If anything, maybe a little bit less sky or something, but then it doesn't make any
Yeah.
difference. I mean,
No,
I
it's
like the
great.
space because it is a big, wide open, spacious place. So we, that a tighter crop might not be really what it needs.
You could try something really creative and put a starry night sky behind it.
Oh, now I'll have to try that with it. Or I have a couple of images as I came in. I saw that and you know started clicking away. So I'll have to check that out. And I'm not sure why I chose that particular one over the others, but it was sharp enough when I like to take these and blow them up at 100%, and I want everything to be sharp
Yeah.
then so that it
Right.
looks nice when you know has you don't lose all the features, but all the little windows and stuff, you know, the boats.
Oh, nice.
And this was taken, I brought my D500, which is the smaller sensor, and this is with a 10mm lens. And so it was like looking up, and I've always thought those corner, you know, how they build on those really tight triangular corners was always so cool. That reminds me of when I was in grammar school and my dad would go to the city to buy a suit, and we'd go buy a couple of these buildings on Market Street. And I always thought it was so weird that they would build on that little tiny wedge shape, but yeah, anyway, that's fun.
You know,
And
I
I
don't
that
even
like
remember
wedge-shaped
seeing that building.
that wedge-shaped building in the middle, you'll see in a later photograph, it's actually red marble on the outside.
Mm.
And about the top 8 stories are condos. And
Ah,
then on the roof, for all the tenants, there's a jogging track that goes all the way around the edge of the building. And the side you can't see away from us is round.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Love it.
just
That's really
yeah.
cool, Gary.
Actually, I was on Market there, so I tried to do a few with the super wide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 101 California on the right, and that building in the middle is One Pine.
Ah, mhm. And that was I took a little walk down the waterfront before I met up with the other people just to see what I could find, you know. And it seemed like a lot of the places there had public space on the water side of the Embarcadero, so I could kind of walk there and look and see what was going on in these two old. Well, it looks like the city cruise one still works, but this one in the foreground, it looks like it's been sitting there for quite a while.
Yeah, it
They
does.
are the Southern Pacific ferries that operated before the Bay Bridge was built.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, because I remember when I was real little going across the Richmond, that was before the Richmond San Rafael Bridge was built. And we went on a ferry a few times. So I don't know whatever happened to it, but that's kind of my recollection of the early ferries. I've been early 50s probably. And I love Coit Tower. So I just try to find some simple, it's nothing too
Yeah.
artistic. It's just I like the palm trees and the houses on the hillside.
Did you shoot this from Golden Gateway when we were still up on the plazas,
This
right
was
before we
taken
went
from
down the stairway into the park?
No, that was more that, you know, there was one picture I took, I didn't include it there, that had oh, let's see, if you went north about 3 or 4 blocks, that's where I took it, or maybe 5 blocks, something like that, where Broadway came out. It's right near that
Broadway, yeah.
area. Yeah, on
Yeah,
the Embarcadero. So I think I walked
yeah.
across, and I forget, I did some on either side of the Embarcadero to see what I could get. And the crew. I had to put that in there. I had 2 of you guys, so
That's great. Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, everybody's having a good time, and I saw you guys from over there. And I got to have at least one picture of the group. It's something that
Right.
we
Yeah.
tend to not do very often, and it's really fun to have, you know, when we have these outings, to take a group picture of some some interesting way or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and that one there, I put it on Facebook, and everybody really loved that circular. And I played with that because the crop, and there's the spiral, in composition, you have the golden spiral like that. Now I did that in Lightroom. You can do an overlay with the spiral, and then you can move it around, by holding the shift key and holding 0, and it'll move it around. And it just so happened that right near the center of the fern is where the spiral begins. And then it comes around, that would be like counterclockwise, right up the staircase, and almost immediately went on the last little row of bricks that went and rounded the whole thing. So it's almost a perfect golden spiral picture
That's great.
for compositions. And sometimes I'm not sure, but I guess everybody really liked that. So that's cool. It's fun. Okay, and then Tony might recognize this. Well, we had the rainy day. We were supposed to be in Petaluma, and so I was there a little early. So I went across the street and took a couple of pictures. So I thought I'd throw those in there. And there's the rainy day, and we had a nice lunch, the three of us there that day.
It looks like you have some sensor spots up at the
Yeah.
sky.
Oh, I missed that one. Yep, I did. For some
Yeah,
reason,
there's a
that
couple.
yep, I blew it on that one. Sorry.
No,
I even got
this
rid
is
of
a
a
good
lot of them.
audience for it.
I think it was the way it was processed, because sometimes if I over process, it'll bring out the
It'll
spots. And I'm
emphasize
finding
them,
on
yeah.
my Z6 with the that it seems to get dirtier more. And so I even bought a kit a while back to clean those. It seems like the new mirrorless cameras are susceptible to picking up spots more.
Oh, no.
Gary,
Well,
Gary, do you have it set up so that that it closes that shutter thing when you change lenses? Because the Nikon Z's don't come set up to do that when you get them out of the box. You have to go in and change a setting. It's got
I'll
like
have to
little
check on.
leveler blinds that will close to protect the
Yeah,
sensor.
because I think it does close automatically. It's just that I've had, it's probably a year old now that I've
Okay,
had it,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
never
yeah.
cleaned it. And I ended up sending away for a kit that you can
Okay,
clean the sensor, and that cleaned it
okay.
up. But normally you wouldn't see that, but with the processing that I did brought that out. And I find that sometimes the processing, the haze filter, or one of those two seem
Yeah,
to accent anything like that. So
yeah.
Different from the sensor spots, I got saltwater spray on the ferry trip that I had to wipe off my lenses.
Oh, yeah.
Same here.
yeah.
Same here.
And
Ooh,
then
Okay.
that's my last one at Petaluma. That was
very nice. Is that from the parking garage?
That's
no,
from
just across the street.
Penray.
We're
It's
we're
Penray
about
Park.
what 2 blocks north
Yeah.
of the main intersection.
Right,
Petaluma
there's a hill
Boulevard.
going up right there.
Oh, I didn't know
and there's
that.
a little park area up there. Yeah, from
Yeah.
the street it looks like a hill, but when you get up, there's a nice little park up there that has a lot of green grass and places to sit and sidewalks and stuff.
Huh, neat.
That's an
But,
amazing sky.
So
Very, very nice in black and white. Really like it.
Mhm, mhm.
thanks.
Oh,
Now, this is on the smart train. Tricia and I were seated at this table, and with the 14 millimeter lens pointed out the window with a, what is that, like F11 or something.
13.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Things close to the train blur with speed, but things far away are sharp. And I wanted, I was playing around with it, and this is precisely to show Tricia how that works out.
Yep,
That's cool.
it is cool. It's a neat effect.
Yeah.
Now, this is the morning after Bill, Tricia, and I met. This is south of the Ferry Building, great big plaza, and I was fascinated by all these long lines, and I have different pictures with the tilting light pole on the side. This is cropped down for a larger picture. I hadn't noticed Bill was taking a picture in the middle there.
I was photographing the wiggly line.
Yeah, that's the trouble with the super wides, is sometimes you get things in that you don't realize.
That's right.
There is a, what do you call that when there's like a rim of white around the buildings?
Halo.
Halo, yeah.
Yeah,
Some
that.
yellowing going on there.
Yeah, I'm very aware of that. I have to go back. One of the processes I did
Created
is
it.
emphasizing something added
Yeah.
that, and I didn't have time to go back and take it out.
It's really cool. I love the feeling of the buildings and the feeling of the sky. It's really different.
It's like
I
they're all
tend to-
tilting in to get that photographer.
My styles tend to be a bit saturated, as you'll see in the other shots.
I like that. Remand, oh yeah.
You know, the 14 millimeter lens, it's a prime lens, and I really love it for shooting architecture and so forth.
There's
Now,
Bill.
this is the same 101 Market 1 Pine Street intersection, and here Bill is shooting the front of the PG&E headquarters.
Oh, with the ram heads.
He's a photographic photographer.
Yeah, I like the no stopping at any time sign.
Very stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that looks
I
like
don't know
the
if you
same.
can see it much back there, but the one pine building at the top, you can see the red marble.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, uh-huh. Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, definitely.
That was one of my accounts when I was with IBM. PG.
Ah,
I'd go in that building.
Oh, nice.
I've actually never been inside, but it's a sister building to One Market, which is Southern Pacific. And employee-wise, there was lots of crossover between the two.
Really like the way the lens bent this building. It's really cool.
Well, this
The way
is,
you captured it.
it's originally 14 millimeter, and 14 millimeters, the widest you can go and not be fisheye. The fisheye effect came from a filter later.
Really cool.
This is the fountain in Justin Herman Plaza, and you see the tip of the Ferry Building behind it. And even though it says fountain, the only place you can really see water falling is just below the Ferry Building. There's a little spot there. But I thought the angle was very interesting to have the Ferry Building popping out of the top.
Yeah, I took that shot also. Grungy sculpture, and then the crisp Ferry Building in the back.
Now, here is the 343 Sansom Popo that we couldn't get into. This is the roof of this Art Deco building, which has this very nice plaza with that pylon and lots of seating all around. People go up there and eat their lunches and stuff.
Really nice.
yeah. My company had an office space in that building too. It's a really extraordinary building. It's beautiful.
So we can go up there now, Steve?
Yeah.
Cool.
And of course, it will be on my tours.
There's a similar obelisk down at ground level.
Pylon, obelisk, but yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Now, this is the lobby of that building. At the lower left, those are the Art Deco stuff above the elevators. And then that's the ceiling, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, and so the stuff at the top is behind me. And then
that
in
was
the
really
next
cool.
shot,
Yeah.
I mirror this,
Wow.
and this is where I wanted to put the statue in the center, as though it's
Yes.
on a
Oh,
pedestal.
wow.
Yes.
That'd be great. That
And
would
then-
look really nice.
Then the challenge is going to be to work with the lighting to get the lighting to look realistic.
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, that was very neat, all the Art Deco. Yeah, took so many pictures and we can only show so many at one night,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
It was pick and choose, so many fun ones.
Now, this is in the alcove above the main entrance to the Shell building at, it's either Bush or Pine at Battery. And I emphasized color contrast, which brought out the different colors in, the blues
In the
and
glass.
so forth. Now, can anyone guess where this is?
It's a Popos.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 1 Kearney Street. Remember the restaurant, Nancy?
I was gonna say Hakkasan.
Hmm?
Hakkasan is closed, unfortunately.
Right, but it's that same 700 Market building, which predates the quake. And I used to work occasionally in that building with red roof, and where that window is a little private apartment where the executives, if they had to stay late or overnight, could stay. And it's attached to this. Well, this is up on the 11th floor. And here we're looking east down Market Street. Then the next picture is looking south. That's to the left of the center building is 3rd Street. And you go to the edge, you can look all the way down 3rd Street, a little to the right, Moscone Center and Potrero Hill. To the right, you can look all the way out Market Street to Twin Peaks, and to the left down to the Ferry Building and Salesforce Tower.
Oh, nice.
Love it.
Now this is a Popos. This is actually a very low quality JPEG in the trekking map software that I finally extracted out. iPhone 15. And right behind me are very high iron gates. So this is closed off during the day. It's only open during business hours. And it's from 3rd Street going all the way through to the Marriott at the end. And I had this woman right there in the middle.
Could you share what kind of program you used to create this look?
This is actually Luminar, the Orton effect.
Oh, okay. And I noticed an Orton effect on another one I was going to, that I really enjoyed. I think it was when you were at the square.
Yeah. Well, additionally, the sun was in the right spot for this. You know, it's a sort of yellowish circle above the
Yeah.
woman.
Yeah.
That's a reflection off the church there. But both sides of this pathway have tall buildings, so it's very deep in shadow except for the center.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
have to take, the sun has to be in the right place to get a shot like this.
The fringe on her hair.
It's really unique, really cool.
So this is when you go from Market down 3rd Street before you get to Mission, right in the middle of the block. On the left side is what is now the Four Seasons Apartments. Used to be 706 Mission. And I had an office on the 7th floor, picture window overlooking Moscone Center. It was probably my favorite office.
Well, now we have a great change of pace.
Yeah.
The guy who is in charge of field trips got rained out in January, rained out in February, and in March got an incredible neck spasm, so he couldn't go on this trip. But I did put up the idea of taking kitchen utensils and using them in different ways. So you can see wall art from Miami holding a fork.
I love it.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Okay, next one. He's holding a strainer. The chef on a bike. This is something that was seen on 395 in Oregon. And I thought the strainer totally fit his outfit.
Is it in his hand or on his face, or where is it?
He's holding it right
Oh,
there.
yeah, okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't
Sorry.
sure.
Should have made it bigger. Okay, the next one will be really easy for you to spot.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to cut a pizza.
Looks like he's from Nevada City.
Believe it or not, that was shot in Old Town in Sacramento.
Oh, okay. the
And
paddle. Okay.
there's 4 or 5 of them that dress up and periodically appear in historic places and get lots of photographers around them.
Because
Now,
of the tech,
this last picture is a little bit not PC.
because of the Texas badge, I was guessing San Antonio.
Well, I don't know. This last shot was,
Is there one more?
yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
this is a little girl playing with her doll. This was shot at Preston Castle during the photographer week.
oh, I love that event.
And they get the local theater group at the high school to dress up, and they'll pretty much do anything you want, but she was not carrying the knife. I put that in.
excellent.
So I couldn't have as much fun as you guys did, but I tried to come up the rear.
That's great.
That's just
Yeah,
creepy
nice.
in a good way.
Thank you. So what we're going to do for field trips is we're going to do it quarterly.
The meeting?
Yeah, the Zoom meetings, from the point of view of I love all of us being here and laughing at one another. And I think we might even get more people if we do it on a quarterly basis. And it means Bill gets a couple of less things he has to do per year to get into his busy schedule. So everything's pretty much set for the rest of the year in terms.
Will we do Preston Castle?
You know, I had that on the list, Tricia, twice, and it ended up that I was the only one that went.
Everything's,
Timing probably.
everything's set except for additional downtown field trip tours by me.
Interestingly enough, Tricia, coming back from Preston Castle, my GPS went totally bananas, and I went through 3 squares that were 3 miles long, and finally had to turn it off and follow the sun because I knew the sun would lead me to the river.
It's unreliable.
But thank you all for coming, and
Oh, yeah, thanks for
Thanks
hosting
for
us, and
hosting.
thanks,
we'll
Bill.
have more. And by the way, Gary's going to be leading Fort Ross come August, so
Oh, good.
I didn't realize what a historian he is for the whole area. So I think he would be a better docent than the people there.
Oh, in some ways.
And thank you, Bill, very much.
Sure. Sure.
So that's it.
Okay,
All righty.
So when is the
Great,
next?
Well
thank
done,
you.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
All
You
right.
too. Thank you.